So far in this series, we've looked at mantras for those precious, subtle first morning moments. We've looked at mantras for our practice as we begin to engage actively in our meditation or our prayer or our conscious, whether it's at an altar or whether it's just on a mat. We've looked at those kind of mantras to invoke that divine presence from the beginning of our day. And today we're going to be looking at these mantras that become these milestones, become these landing spaces for us throughout the day, so that they slowly begin to infuse moments of that interconnection at various points in our day. So without any more waiting, let's look at them. Let's explore these. You may feel sometimes that there's this experience where you start the day, ideally you start the day on a great note. You start the day with attention and intention and reverence, but then by the time we reach a couple of hours later, noon, late afternoon, we feel like some of that's worn off. Some of that lightness is now being kind of covered up again by the heaviness and the stickiness of the world around us. And we are again deeply into what's me and what's mine. And we feel a disconnect. We feel like we've lost something special that we were able to touch at that moment of the day. So these mantras are these kind of invitations to just come back, because as we know, we are never actually hidden or lost or pulled away or separate in any way from the divine. It's simply a covering that has made us a bit forgetful. So these are reminders. These are like many of these mantras are like, you think of children and they say, oh, tie a thread around your finger so you won't forget that you need to remember something. These mantras are like that thread, they pull us back, they draw us back to that quick remembrance. So they're wonderful to just have in your toolkit of how you keep maintaining your awareness and keep your mind focused and pointed in the right way. So our first mantra is very short and very simple and very easy, yet is a profound portal to something very vast. And I'll bring a slide for that. I'll also add it into the chat here. So our first mantra is Om Ishwaraya Namaha. Take us there now. Yes. Right? So there's just 3 simple words, just a few syllables. But this mantra just, first we chant Om, which as we know is that resonant vibration of the universe that encapsulates all of the teachings we're spending our time learning and studying. They're just coalesced into this one utterance of Om. So we start with Om, and then we say Ishwaraya Namaha. Ishwara. It's invoking Ishwara. And you may be familiar with this word Ishwara, or maybe it's less of a constant word for you. This word Ishwara, what we're invoking here is that presence in the universe, which is omniscient, meaning it's all knowing, it's pure awareness, pure knowingness. It's omnipresent. It is everywhere. It is infusing the tangible physical material that we encounter. It's infusing our thoughts, our mind, our subtle being. It's infusing what seems like it's just space and nothingness. There's nowhere that Ishvara is not. So it's omnipresent. It's all pervading. It's never taken away. It's never reduced. It's just constantly there. And in this world that we live in, where nothing seems constant and everything seems temporary and ephemeral and changing, this mantra reminds us that there is something abiding, there is something eternal, there is something consistent. So it brings us back into that remembrance. And Ishwara is the nature of Sat, of truth, of that reality that is the same in the past. It'll be the same in the future. It's the same right now. It's that chitta, it's that awakenedness, that consciousness, that luminous knowing of everything. And it's ananda. It's that joy, that bliss, that happiness that comes from deep within us. So when we say that word Ishwara, when we say that word Ishwaraya, it means I'm invoking all of those things just in this one word. And Namaha means I'm bowing to, I'm honoring, I'm showing reverence for that presence. So I invite you to chant this with me now. We'll chant it 3 times together, and it's a short one, so I think we can chant it together. So I invite you to just, again, it's in the chat if you'd like to see it there. But for this, you can place a hand on your heart. You can place a hand in a prayer. You can put your fingers into a mudra anything that resonates with you. Maybe a hand on the belly and the heart. And as we chant this together, allow the sound is coming from inside of you. It's with mantras always, it's emerging from deep, 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 deep within us. So it's not the mind that is saying, say Om Ishwaraya Namaha, and it's going from mind to mouth. It's actually a sound that reflects a deep inner truth. So before you even make a noise, before you even utter anything, invoke awareness of what we're connecting with, that Om Ishwaraya Namaha. We're going to invoke that presence of Ishwara and awareness of that presence of Ishwara. So we can ready our physical body. You can inhale 3 times, we'll chant. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. And allow those inner vibrations, those sounds that have emerged from you and entered your own ears, and then come into your being again. Let that reverberate. Beautiful. Yeah. So this mantra is so accessible. It's so easy to find time for this mantra. And with the beautiful function that this mantra has is to cultivate this ongoing remembrance of Ishvara. And it's an ongoing remembrance that happens. You can do it anytime you're feeling a little disconnected. But it's especially nice to come back to this remembrance. It can be a lifeline when we're feeling really in the depths of this world, when we're feeling very heavy, very overwhelmed and overpowered. And we don't know if we should read something, watch something, we don't know what to grasp for to pull ourselves out of this. So when we feel that sinking into this samsara, to this world that we've created in our mind that is causing suffering, when we feel ourselves sinking in, Om Ishwaraya Namaha, it elevates us, it pulls us out of that sticky consciousness and into this heart space of expansiveness, light, reestablishment in truth. And on the other end of the pendulum, we also want to keep remembering Ishvara when we're feeling those heightened states, when we're feeling that overwhelming joy. We've won the lottery, literally or figuratively. We've gotten a dream or a wish that we've been hoping and wanting for. It's been granted, so we're feeling just this fluttery joy of something that's happened out into the world and come to us, and we're feeling blessed and wonderful. In those moments, again, coming back to Om Ishwaraya Namaha, again, that draws us back to a state of equanimity, to a state of balance, where we remember again, there's something beautiful and wonderful happening out there. My partner's finally talking to me the way I want them to speak to me, listening to me the way I want them to. My child finally got into that college I wanted them to get into. I'm complete. I'm whole. Om Ishwaraya Namaha reminds us that actually it's this Ishvara within, which is the source of all of that. So, and again, it counterbalances us. Equally importantly, in those mundane, the bulk of our time is spent in this mundane middle space, isn't it? Where we're just kind of going through the motions, maybe not feeling very happy, very sad. The mind is kind of chattering, the body's kind of doing. We're not quite aware of where we are, but we're going along and it's okay. In those mundane moments, saying, let me again remember Ishvara here, in the folding of the laundry, in the walking the dog in the park, in the typing again one more spreadsheet that has to be redone. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. And that opens our eyes to the presence of Ishvara in everything. So this kind of ongoing remembrance is another way that coming back to this mantra frequently, regularly, starts to train our mind to see Ishvara everywhere and in everything, which is where it's present. So before we move to the next one, let's one last time chant this mantra together. Placing your hands anywhere you'd like, anyhow you'd like. Connecting with that Ishvara presence that is always there, but we're using mantra to bring our awareness back to it. We can inhale together. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. Beautiful. So this is one mantra for all day, every day, whenever you'd like to invoke it. The next mantra we'll explore here, and this may be very familiar to you as well, but it has so many applications in kind of our day-to-day lives. I'll share this chant here on the screen as well. This mantra is the Sahana Vavatu mantra, which you may be aware of. Oh, the question about the Ishvara, should it be chanted 3 times at once? No, it can be 1 time, 9 times, any number of times. Any number is fine. I just like to do it a few times I feel like it kind of lands in me a little more, but it can be just once. In line at the bank, oh, Ishwaraya Namaha. We feel the frustration. Anytime, just once is enough. So this mantra, it sounds like this. Say Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So a meaning of this is that Om, again, that Om, may the supreme power, that supreme power, we can call it Ishwara, Brahman, but here we're talking to Ishwara, the supreme power protect both the teacher and the student, protecting us. May that power nourish both of us. May we both work together with great energy, with enthusiasm, with energy, and may our study be enlightening, and may no obstacle rise between us. Om, peace, peace, peace. So it's written here in the Devanagari, it's written here it's in the chat also transliterated. I see your question here, Deborah. I'll help you with that in just a moment. And this is one meaning that we can have with this. So this mantra, it's a prayer for harmony in our interactions. It's a prayer for divine protection, to kind of create a bubble of sacred space around an interaction, around an activity. And word by word, I'll share also word by word here, the meaning, so you can connect with that as well. Om, that universal sound. Sahana means may we be able. Vavatu is protect us. Sahana is both of us. Bhunaktu is may we enjoy. May we enjoy. Saha viryam, together with great energy. That viryam means a power, a strength, an energy. Karavavahai, may we work. May we do actions together. May we be able to do those actions. Tejas vinavadhi tamastu. May our learning be radiant, full of tejas. Our mind be filled with radiance from this activity together. Ma vidvishavahai. May we both not quarrel. Because anytime we're learning something here and there, there's a chance of some bumping egos. So maybe not quarrel. Om, peace, peace, peace. So it echoes that way. So this mantra is traditionally or typically done at the beginning of study. When you sit down with a teacher or you sit down with a class or a book, you can see how this, in a Vedic educational setting, would be valuable. It's also used in gatherings or when people come together or are starting a new activity. It's like, let's before we even get into it, let's invoke some blessings for this interaction. Let there be protection around it, meaning allow it to be fulfilled. May there be no less misunderstandings. So all these kinds of blessings and intentions we're infusing into the beginning of an activity. And the highest collaboration we're asking for in this activity. So we can use this at any point in our day. It can be part of our daily practice. It can be something we invoke on certain occasions, at the start of something new, at the start of when we sit down to review a teaching, or we sit down with our book to open it. We can ask with this mantra. It aligns us in such a way that the ego of the student is holding that highest intention and is asking for this study to be fruitful. It can also be used when we are beginning some kind of collaboration. You'll also see, like at functions or events, or where there'll be people speaking, or there'll be some kind of conference or any kind of gathering where people are going to be interacting. This mantra comes at the very beginning. This mantra comes right before things get underway. So like that, as we're stepping forward into something, this mantra has a beautiful place. It aligns us, and we're silently, even if the other person we're going to engage with is not chanting this mantra with us, doesn't know about chanting this mantra, which is fine. We're in our own heart, in our own inner space, we're talking to that presence within the other. We're speaking with them as well through mantra, because consciousness is all one. Consciousness is all one. So us in our little corner of consciousness, we are connecting with the consciousness everywhere and saying, let's get along as we do this. Let's not fight. Let's have this be full of light. Let's have the ultimate best outcome. So one is when we study, another is beginning something new, any kind of stepping into any kind of gathering. Maybe you're starting a new book club. Maybe you're joining your knitting circle. Maybe you're having some kind of, baking group. And at the start of that, you think to yourself, okay, may this space be protected. And you invoke these kinds of concepts. It can be used in very mundane and real world collaborations. You're heading into a team meeting. You're signing up and creating agreements on a new partnership or collaboration. Maybe both work together with energy, maybe both not quarrel, all these things we're invoking for ourselves, whether the other person is chanting it or not. We can also use this when we're about to have a sensitive conversation. The kind of conversation where you're going into it and I need to stay awake here. I need to stay awake here because this has the potential to cause an ego reaction in me, or what truth I need to say might cause an ego reaction in the other. Let me first come into this, invoke this part of divine power to protect and keep sacred this interaction. You can, as I said, you can invite others to chant with you if they're aware of this. So maybe you're doing a seva project inside of the Vedic study circle, and you say, okay, we're starting this work together for a greater cause. Let us together chant this mantra. So this we can do. Otherwise, you can do it on your own and just you be embodying that energy, that conscious awareness as you step into it. You will find with this mantra that these beautiful attitudes and sentiments begin to just arise naturally in you with a regular chanting of this mantra. That your thoughts, your speech, your actions just organically align more and more with these kinds of qualities, with these kinds of, you become more aligned with that power of Ishwara to grant these kinds of blessings. I will share with you a very mundane and real world example of how I discovered these emerging in me. I like this mantra. I don't chant it every day, but relatively regularly. It's not on my daily rotation, but I come back to it because I like the way it feels when I chant this mantra. So recently, my daughter is not yet a teenager. She's just on the edge. And she wanted a cell phone. And immediately my thoughts on this are a bunch of fear comes up, a bunch of worry comes up, a bunch of wanting to control and wanting to protect and keep safe. And I know that if I bring that kind of fear and reactivity to this conversation, no positive agreement will come. But I could see it was important to her. So I noticed when I began to have this conversation, though I didn't think to chant this mantra first, and maybe even that would have improved it even better, I noticed afterward, when I observed the conversation we had about, can my teenage daughter get a cell phone? It was evoking these exact qualities. I was able to say, I can see this is important to you. As your mother, I feel worries about your safety. I feel uncertain about how to take this forward, how we can make this work. Because it's a big new step. But, and I found myself saying organically to her, you and I are on the same team. We're working together on this whole you growing up business. And I want to work together with you. I want us to collaborate on how we can make this happen. So let's talk about it. You tell me, why is it that you want this phone? What kind of things do you want to do with it? Why is it important to you? And let me also now have space to share with you why I'm concerned. And then let's see how we can find a way to give you this new independence while I can also feel safe that you have the tools to make good decisions. So we talked it out, we worked it out. But then as I reflected, I thought, this mantra was working through us in this sensitive conversation, which could have gone many ways. So I thought, this is one of the benefits of bringing in regular mantra practice, because it works not on our intellect, but it deeply changes our base vibration. It deeply impacts our state of conscious awareness. And so that when a conversation emerges, our response is fragrant with these mantras that have been chanted. So you will find many occasions where this happens to you, where wisdom teachings spontaneously reemerge from you when you need them. But I just I giggled with joy when I found how this mantra had supported me. I also asked my daughter if I could share this example with you. She said yes. So this mantra is useful in many ways. Yeah. So let us chant it together. Let's look at this. You can either see in the chat or you can see on the screen, which I will share now with you. I'll chant each line. Again, you may be familiar with it. I'll chant each line once and give space if you want to chant it after. So let's again settle the body. Come into awareness of that deep inner presence within us that is now going to emerge in the form of a mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And let us chant this one more time together. And this time, picture in your mind a occasion or a situation or a relationship or a conversation or something that is coming up in your field that could use these kinds of invocations, that could use this kind of blessing, that can use the protection of the supreme power, that could benefit from being nourished by this supreme power, not by our ego stories, not by power plays, but deeply nourished by the ultimate supreme power, that could benefit from collaboration, working together for the common good with energy, with brightness, with light, and something where that work can now enlighten. That work now makes things lighter, makes them clearer, makes them more aligned with a greater truth. And where you want to remove some obstacle, remove an obstacle of any kind, of misunderstanding, of circumstances. You're asking for a free flow in this engagement. So maybe there is something that you can imagine. And if nothing else, it can be your studentship, your connection and learning of this wisdom. So take a moment to bring that into your mind's eye. And again, let us chant this chant together one last time. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Beautiful. So feel free to invoke this mantra anytime in your day. Question here from Deborah is about the pronunciation of Ishwara. It's spelled different ways. Sometimes it's Ishwara or Vara, Ishvara, Ishwara. The interesting thing here is in Devanagari, which is the Sanskrit alphabet, it's a syllabary. So each form that you see is actually a syllable. It's a sound. It's not just like a letter. So when you see each one, it is indicating a certain syllable. And that in Devanagari, there's no V and then another one for a W. So there's just one. There's just one form. So it can be transliterated as a va or a wa. It's like the sound of it is that sound that's kind of in between the two, that va, Ishwara, Ishwara. So it's kind of a wa or a va. It can be written both ways. It doesn't matter, but it doesn't indicate a difference in pronunciation. It just indicates a difference in how that person has taken a Devanagari syllable and now turned it into an English writing. Yeah. So when you say it, it's Om Ishwaraya Namaha. So it's kind of a soft wa. Yeah. So Shweta's asking, which words in the mantra refers to teacher and student, or is that subtle and assumed? Right. So there's no word specifically here that says teacher and student, though it's used in that context. Yeah. So the most invoked use is around a teacher and a student. A student and a teacher come together and they use this in that moment. We can also expand that meaning and usage to other parts of our interactions. Yeah. But you're right. There's no word in here that's saying guru or shishya or any other word that might mean the same. Mhm. All right. So now let's look at one very important thing that happens many, many times of the day. This is at our meal times. We very often will eat multiple times a day, unless we're fasting for some other purpose. Most of us will be eating a few times each day. So this is another opportunity to have that full stop and to invoke the sacred. So there's one mantra that we chant very often, and whenever we gather together with Acharya Shunya, she would have us all chant this mantra together. You may have grown up with this mantra, or it may be a new mantra for you. But this is a beautiful one to invoke the presence of Ishwara at the start of a meal. So I'll share the screen with you now and put it in the chat as well. This is the Brahmarpanam mantra. Let me share this for you here. So here, this is a mantra that we use before we start to eat. It's like a saying grace. Yeah. So we chant this mantra and it sounds like this. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnam Brahmanahatam Brahmeva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. So here we see this word Brahma, Brahma, Brahma inside of this mantra. So what it's saying is Brahmarpanam, the act of offering is Brahman, Arpanam, Brahman. Brahma Havir, the oblation, the food, or what is offered, what is on this table about to be an offering is Brahman. So the food on my plate is Brahman. Brahmagna, the fire into which the offering is made, is Brahman. This is our Agni. We're about to take this food and offer it like an offering into our inner fire, our Agni. So that fire that is going to transform and digest this food, that as well is Brahman. Brahmanahatam, the one who offers is Brahman. The one who is making this offering. That can be us, that can be whoever made the food, that can be everyone who is ingesting is also Brahman. Brahmeva tena gantavyam. Brahman alone is to be reached by the one who is absorbed in Brahman. So to reach Brahman, we have to be absorbed into Brahman. We dissolve and absorb ourselves into that conscious awareness. Brahma karma samadhina. The act performed with the mind absorbed in Brahman is Brahman itself. So when I'm about to eat this food, that action is connecting me with, dissolving me into that process of mindfully, with attention on the Brahman present in what I'm doing. That is also Brahman. That is also Brahman. This act, this mindful act is also Brahman. So it's pointing out all the different places where there is Brahman present. And this mantra tells us that everything involved in the food is divine. Brahman is that, again, that ever present, that without any quality. Brahman is another word for Ishwara, and it means just that expansive, all permeating, pure consciousness that is everywhere. And this mantra reminds us that everything involved in the offering is this manifestation of Brahman. What is this plate I'm about to eat from? It's Brahman, which has become a plate. What is this corn on the cob I'm about to chew? It's Brahman that became the soil, that became the plant, that became the rain, that became the farmer who plucked it and brought it to me and I ate it. Everything that I'm encountering right here through all of my five senses is a manifestation of Brahman. It's only Brahman. And when it encourages us that when we perform actions, for example, this one of eating, with a sense of the divine within us and the divine within the materials that we seem to be manipulating, that is a pathway to spiritual realization. That is a pathway to Brahman consciousness. So it's significant to recite this mantra before we eat because it again awakens us to the divinity everywhere. It kind of changes the texture of the space where we're eating, that we are eating with a new sense of reverence. It fosters gratitude to the food and awareness of the food. And it takes something very everyday, very mundane. People walking along with a packet of chips and a coffee in their hand. We're constantly ingesting. It gives us this full stop and says, let this become a sacred act of self-realization. The fact that I'm about to eat food. So in daily life, you can use this mantra to chant before you eat, of course. You can use it to chant before you're cooking. If you're cooking something at home, preparing something, you can chant it as you're cooking to kind of infuse that attitude into the food. You can use it as a contemplation and a meditation. So to bring a new facet to your relationship with food, with eating, with cooking, with the utensils, even doing your dishes, everything that comes part and parcel with food and meals. You can use this mantra as a contemplation to now visualize each component of that meal and seeing it as a manifestation of Brahman. And it recalibrates our relationship with food, with meal times, with eating, with preparation, with the cleanliness of the space, with the mindfulness we do it. It's not that now we can't chant this mantra and then sit in front of the TV, and eat our food. It's very hard to do that. So it brings us into a different conscious state when we're eating. So let's chant this together and see how it resonates with us. And if at first it's not intuitive to know which word is talking about the plates and which word is talking about the food and which word is talking about the act, as you learn the mantra, the rhythm of keeping hearing Brahman, 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 just imagine your awareness going to all the food and the plates and the spoons and the inner fire and the act of the food coming from your hand or your utensil to your mouth. Just keep that kind of awareness as you begin to become familiar with the mantra's meaning. So I'll chant a word and then you can chant after, and then, we'll do it that way first. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmevate Gantavyam. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Beautiful. And just like that, we've attuned ourselves at the start of a meal to the activity of eating and all that comes along with it. So the invitation here is to bring this in anytime, before meal, while preparing, even just in contemplation, separate from your meals. The final set of mantras that we'll look at also involves foods, also involves eating. So let us look at this one together as well. This mantra, it invokes I'll paste this in the chat as well, so you have it similarly there. Yeah. So this mantra, we are going to look at with this mantra all of the biophysical, mental, subtle energies that are moving inside of the body. And let's look at that together. So here, this practice involves these mantras, but the ritual that goes along with it is you can take a tumbler of water, pure water, fresh water, that's been kept in a clean cup, and take a few drops of it, and you can sprinkle it around your plate as you chant this mantra. Sprinkle some drops of water as a gesture of purification and of drawing a sacred boundary around your plate of food. And as we do that, we can chant these lines. First, we say, Om Pranaya Swaha. So this is about prana, that that life-giving force of energy that nourishes our bodies and our minds. And each of these first 5 lines are talking about, if you're familiar with Ayurveda, the Panchavayus, the 5 types of Vata dosha, not Vata dosha, the 5 forces that move inside the body in different directions and support different functions of our being. So pranaya swaha is that intaking of that life force energy. And the second line says, Om apanaya swaha. Apana is the downward moving force, the outward moving force that helps us with the elimination and detoxification of our being. So the third line is Om Vyanaya Swaha, for the circulation and the movement. So there's a energy inside of us, which is there's a force within us that is moving all of our blood is circulated, the energy is circulated, everything is moving and rotating inside of our being. So there's a force that is monitoring that and that is regulating that. And that's the Vyana. Om Udanaya Swaha. This is relating to the Udana Vayu, the upward growth, the expression that's giving us expression of outward. The fifth is Om Samanaya Swaha, for balance and digestion. This is the holding, the steadiness, the keeping in place energy in the body. And finally, we invoke Om Brahmanaya Swaha, for uniting all these energies with Ishwara. Yes, swaha. So swaha is like this word is used when you are making an offering and you're letting it go and giving it up and surrendering it. Swaha means like I'm handing it over to the divine. So as we chant this, we're taking each of these 5 vital energy forces in our body. We're in this process connecting them with our food by sprinkling this water around our plate. We're saying, with this food, with this act of eating, may all of my 5 energy activities be regulated, function in the way they are intended to, and may they all be united then and surrendered, swaha, given to Ishwara. May they all be under a divine orchestration. So like this, as we chant here, we're seeing that imagine when you're eating, as you're eating, each of these 5 beautifully build on each other. Each of these 5 build on each other in a way which says, first we're blessing our food and we're going to take it in. So this food, we're saying this food is also containing prana. Yes, it's the micronutrients and the macronutrients and the starches and it's the the elements that are inside of this food that is nourishing me and making up my body, but it's the prana, it's the life force inside of this food, which is merging with my inner prana within. So imagine as we're sprinkling this water and taking in these blessings, we're saying Om Pranaya Swaha. We're acknowledging that there is this life force which is entering us like an inhalation or like a mouthful of good food. That's what we're taking in. It's this prana cycle that's happening. So this prana is entering us. Om Apanaya Swaha. And what is unneeded and unnecessary is moved out of our body, moved out of our being, is eliminated and released. So whatever is being held that needs to be let go, Apana is letting it go. So Apanaya Swaha, downward, a downward energy we feel. Om Vyanaya Swaha, a circulation and a movement. And what is left, what is needed and required for the body now moves everywhere within. It nourishes, it empowers, it enlivens each particle of our being. So we imagine now that energy that we are going to take in through the food, it is allowed us to eliminate what is no longer needed, and then it is circulating throughout our entire being. Om Udanaya Swaha. And it allows for this upward movement as well, this upward growth, this expression that comes out through our expressions, through our voice, through just an upward rising of expression. So all that we are able to do comes from this upward and outward movement of udana. That's another exhale. We're releasing this udana. Or the power of udan is allowing us to express and grow, that upward and outward. And then comes that Om Samanaya Swaha. This is that energy which is needed to hold. This samana is the energy in the body that keeps the food in place, keeps the food in the stomach for the right amount of time so that it can be fully digested. It has a holding and steadying, balancing energy to it. In Ayurveda, we say that when a woman is pregnant, it's this samana vayu that's holding the baby within for the right amount of time. So it has that holding. And then we are uniting all five of these with Brahman, with Ishwara. So really, when you sit and connect with these five energies that this food is supporting, why do we eat Ayurvedic food or balanced food or healthy food? So that these energies in the body can be balanced, because disease, discomfort, pain, all are rooted in some distortion and mingled up, blocked, or some out of balance action of these energies in the body. So we invoke their healthy and right and divinely guided movement within our being. It takes you on a whole revolution, a whole orbit, these mantras. So I invite you now to let's chant these together. We'll chant each one, and then I'll just remind you what that is invoking within, and see if you can become aware of this inner energetic movement and action that's happening in your body. While being aware, when we chant this, we are also aware of that being balanced and regulated, helped by the prana and the food. helped by the food that we have. So let's chant these together. Beginning together. Om Pranaya Swaha. To that life force, life-giving energy. Om Apanaya Swaha. For the elimination and detoxification, what the body no longer needs. Om Vyanaya Swaha. For the circulation and inner movement of that prana. Om Udanaya Swaha. For that upward movement of growth and expression. Om Samanaya Swaha. For that balance, inner integrity, that holding process of digestion. Om Ramanaya Swaha. For uniting all of these functions and energies with Ishwara, with the divine will. So like that, these energies are regulated, and that sprinkling of the water creates a sacred boundary around our food. It creates a little space where we say, inside of here, this all is for the purpose of regulating these energies that happen inside the body and reminding them that they're under the purview, under the control, they're aligned with the cosmic orchestration happening all around. So this is a way that we can bring ritual and bring mantra into the beginning of our meal times as well. So these are the 4 mantras. Yes. Shweta, you shared. This is so beautiful. Swaha. It's used a lot in marriage ceremonies when you offer certain things into the fire. Yes. It's an offering. And so we think, this Agni I have within me is that sacred fire. Is that sacred fire. And each mouthful I take is an offering, an offering, an offering. Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. So these are the 4 mantras that we'll encounter today. We've looked at Om Ishwaraya Namaha for any and all moments, just to snap us back, into that inner awareness. We've looked at that Sadhana Vavatu, when we are hoping for collaboration, we're hoping for some opening to work together, whether it's with deep wisdom teachings, whether it's in a mundane context, whether it's the start of something very auspicious. We can use this mantra anywhere we like. And then we've looked at 2 food mantras. One which helps us see each and every object on our table as a true manifestation of Brahman, of pure consciousness has become these physical objects. Let me treat them like that. And then also how to bless our foods so that each energy, each force inside of our body that is needed for healthy functioning becomes balanced and becomes sacred as well. So please do explore with these. I like to sometimes write especially for the food mantras, I would write a little sticky note with some of these mantras, and I can keep it nearby to look with. So find your own creative ways to invoke them in. So with that, we'll close today. We have one more session in these mantras for the evening that will come next week for how we can fall asleep with this awareness. So I invite you to join me there. Jai Ma, thank you.